So I'm making a quick video. It's the end of 2017, and if this phone looks familiar to you and that logo looks familiar to you, it is the OnePlus 2. So yes, I am aware of the fact that the OnePlus 5T has launched, but when you're an upstart like OnePlus, the ability to sell your new phone really depends on the ability of your older phone to perform well. So how does this phone stack up in a 2017/2018 world? Let's review some of the features of the phone and see how they are today. So, of course, you can see there's a USB Type-C port. This phone does not do the fast charging because it doesn't have dash charging like newer OnePlus models have, but the charging does pretty good. Probably my favorite feature on this phone is the removable back of the phone. The surface, very durable. You can scratch it, but that prevents you from having the phone sliding out of your hand real easily. And then up here, you have a dual SIM card slot. That is basically something that's big if you're an international traveler. That way you can go from one country to the next. Say you live in the US and you're going to Asia, you can go get your SIM card while you're in Asia while keeping your old home SIM card in the phone. Just switch back and forth, and then once you get home, switch to your home SIM card and you'll be able to have data working as soon as you land in the US. One of the other features of this phone is the alert slider. Controversial feature for some because you slide down to turn on the volume and then slide up to turn the volume off and to turn off the disturbing mode. Some people would rather it be the other way around, but it's something that is not fixable on this phone. The phone does have a fingerprint reader, and the fingerprint reader works pretty good. I had this phone for a while, and I got the Nexus when it was new, the Nexus 5S. This phone actually has a better fingerprint reader than the Nexus in my opinion. As far as the phone goes, this is in a night mode, so the phone display is naturally going to be darker. The reason for that is when you're using darker colors, it helps save your battery. And battery tends to depend on the person and what they're doing with the phone. As far as storage goes, 54 gigabytes of storage available means it's a 64 gig phone, but with the operating system and things of that nature, you have a lot of that taken up. But still, after all this time, I have a little bit less than half of the phone still available. And there's probably stuff I can delete off here, so even though it's only a 64 gig phone, memory still stacks up. You can still see phones selling at 64 gigs. You'll see phones with internal storage of less than that on the prepaid side, so depending upon who you are and what type of phone you're looking for, you may or may not get that. As far as memory goes, 3 gigabytes used over the last 3 hours. This is a 4 gigabyte phone as far as this goes, so it still holds up. Still some phones selling around 4 gigs. Of course, the newer OnePlus phones, 5T, is about 8 gigs of memory that is usable. As far as being able to use other things, such as the camera, there's definitely a lot of home space there. Let's just go into our apps and go over to the camera real quick. Camera is kind of slow to load, but you can take pictures kind of quick. Some newer phones have a lag in them. That lag is generally fixed with a software update if you weren't aware of that. So the phone does have different options: photo, video, manual mode, panorama mode. slow motion and time lapse. So holds up pretty good compared to some of the features that you're seeing on phones still today. And as you can see, it does load kind of slow, switching in between modes as far as being able to do different things on the phone. You see there 4K, so there it shows up better. You can shoot video in 4K on this phone. It's questionable if you're doing this for vlogging how many people are viewing your vlogs and are able to do 4K video, having 4K monitors, so take that for what it's worth. But you also have 1080p, 720p that you can go through as well. So definitely capable of doing high definition videos on the phone. You do, of course, if we can get it to focus, have your sensor there at the top. And right about there is where you can have your front facing camera on the phone. Volume button as well. You can get the focus, so you have your volume and your power button there on the side. Of course, fingerprint button will unlock the phone. And you can set up different modes for if you long press or short press that. You can make the buttons here on the side visible or invisible depending upon what you're looking for. So it's a very customizable phone. Camera with a flash. You do have your screen gestures on here. So if you do that V, then you have your flashlight that comes on. Do the V again to turn the flashlight off. So you draw a circle on the screen, it'll automatically open up the camera for you as well. So those are some things that people can play around with. So as far as how the phone is holding up, definitely you see metal all along the sides of the phone, making it a very durable phone. Headphone jack, which is kind of a dying breed, but is important, especially if you're doing some video recording on the phone and you want to plug in an external mic. So overall, I'm still very happy with this phone. I'm still able to use this phone to this day. The biggest issue that I have with the phone is just that there's no NFC on the phone. So this was the OnePlus model where it didn't have NFC. That's important, especially if you're an American going to another country. A lot of places you can pay for various things via NFC. Because there's no NFC on this particular phone, you're not able to use things like Google Pay. But this phone is one that I have not modified, and if you check the SIM cards, you saw that I do use Google Fi. So Google Fi does work, even though Google Fi will tell you you need a phone that is CDMA and GSM. This is just GSM, so T-Mobile is definitely a carrier you can use, as well as AT&T. Newer OnePlus models do have the CDMA chipset inside, so you will be able to use Google Fi a little more efficiently if you are a Fi user, or if you don't use Fi but you want to use other networks, it does open that up as well. As all OnePlus phones come, this phone comes factory unlocked, comes with the USB cable and the plug. If you're looking to get a newer OnePlus phone, then definitely you will want to get your chargers from them because of the dash charging capability. Dash charging still uses the USB Type-C port like you see there at the bottom. It's just with dash charging, when your phone is charging and it's heating up, the heat goes away from the phone itself and goes towards the charger, keeping the phone cool and making it charge even faster. So while this phone doesn't do that, and while this is a 2-year-old phone, I get away with charging it maybe once during the day. Sometimes I don't even have to do that. It just depends on what I'm doing. So you're not going to find this phone brand new from OnePlus. You will have to find it used. But if you are somebody who needs an unlocked phone and the bands that this phone comes with work for you where you're going, then definitely durable phone, good camera, shoot video in 4K, 64 gigs of storage, 4 gigs of RAM. I would definitely say if you can get this phone cheaply, it is a good buy. If you are someone that wants something newer, based on my experience and how this phone is held up, I would definitely say consider OnePlus. They're basically a company that wants to build flagship quality phones without the flagship price tag. And so you're going to, especially in this day and age where phones are $1,000, which if you remember back in the late 80s, early 90s, when the first cell phones came out, they were selling for $1,000. So in a world of $1,000 phones, OnePlus definitely gives you a lot of bang for your buck, and you will save hundreds of dollars going with a OnePlus model. So I have no problem recommending OnePlus. I did pay full price for this phone when I got it, and thankfully now they don't have the lottery system where you have to get picked and then you can order the phone. If you got the money, just go to OnePlus's website and order the phone. So this is just a look at how this phone still holds up years later. It's a phone that I can keep using and will keep using for a little bit longer, but then I will replace it later. But if you have any questions, let me know. I'll talk to you later. Goodbye.